Mike.
Welcome back to the A&M podcast.
Having a little headphone issue, but that's fine.
He's fresh off a
I
plane,
I dropped my headphone in my
basically.
drink.
Yeah, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it does still work, right?
So it's
Or it's
yeah,
just
it's
wet in
working.
your
It's
ear.
just yeah. It's like
It's giving
I feel like I
loogie.
have swimmer's ear.
That is the
Gotta
worst.
fix
I
that.
had an earache like a week or two ago,
I'm
and
gonna
that's always
just keep
crazy
this
getting
out
an
because that's gonna
earache
be very
as a
nasty.
grown up.
Yeah. Because
Like
what do
that
you do?
makes me feel kind of like a little kid. Like I'm not gonna go to the doctor for
Can
an earache. It
yeah.
has to be really hurting me for like weeks before I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let me go to the doctor.
Right. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just like
Childish.
yeah, like they're gonna give you the little drops to put in your
Yeah.
ear, or what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So this time, and this is something that it's funny because Alyssa brought this up, and it's something that's been bothering me like crazy lately.
yeah,
And until
same.
you brought it up, I thought it was just me. But we wanted to talk about like what do they call it? Spam phone calls.
Spam calls, potential
Spam
spam.
calls. Yeah,
Which
potential
I kind
spam.
of hate that it says that because we
Yeah,
all know that it's spam.
yeah, yeah. Like
Potential spam.
I've never had somebody that I needed to talk to call me, and it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't answer. It came up as potential spam.
Yeah.
And but like even with the iPhone, I feel like at one point they had something that was doing something with it that they weren't coming through as much. I don't know, but
There's a setting on your phone
mhm,
that you could make it where pretty much any phone call, specifically that comes in through as potential spam, but that you just don't have saved in your phone, you can make it so that it automatically will like forward those calls to
to
voicemail
voicemail.
and like
Okay,
potentially block them. There is a setting in your phone that you can do that. I stopped doing mine when I was like looking for jobs and stuff.
that's the hard part,
And I
right?
should put it back. I have been meaning to put it back, but like,
Well, and it really
I
like
shouldn't have to do that either. Why do I have so many spam
yeah,
calls?
yeah, and really like anytime. That's exactly it. Like because anytime there could be a number that calls you that you don't recognize that
Hmm.
is somebody you may need to talk to, you know?
Yeah.
And to have to be like, "Oh, this didn't come up as somebody I know, so I have to ignore it."
Or like
Like,
wait
you
for them
know,
to leave a voicemail
yeah.
is always usually what I would do.
Yeah,
Like,
which I mean there's that part of it too, right? Because if it is somebody you need to talk to, they'll likely leave you a voicemail. I mean, I can't imagine like say you're doing a job search
yeah.
and you know the recruiter's calling you because you sent your resume and they want to interview you. I can't imagine that they'd be like, "Oh, we got his voicemail. Moving on to the next person." Like I don't think that's the case, but who knows? You
The
know,
part
like
I hate the most is that it automatically will forward them, I think, to voicemail. It's like a ring once,
yeah.
go to voicemail
Well,
type.
and then on the iPhone now they have that thing where like you can pick up a call that's gone to voicemail. So if like the person starts leaving the voicemail,
Oh, I
you
like
can
that,
listen
yeah.
to it while they're leaving it. And you know, it's like the old days when you had the answering
Yeah.
machine and you were sitting there listening. It's like, oh, that's you know this person. I need to talk to them. So that's a nice. And there was one time where somebody was calling me and I didn't recognize the number,
Hmm.
and but then I started listening to it, and it was somebody I needed to talk to, so I picked it up. Because, like, you know, you never know, a doctor's office or whatever could have
Yeah.
a number you don't recognize.
What I don't understand is I don't understand why there's so many more spam calls nowadays than back when people had like house phones.
Yeah,
Imagine when you had a house phone if it was ringing off the hook sometimes the other day I literally was getting a spam call, like two spam calls at the same time.
yeah,
Like the one was ringing and leaving a voicemail and then the other one called through
yeah.
and it was like doing the like doot
I
doot
think
like
it's,
guys slow down.
I think because in general today there are more scams like than there used to be. Like, you know, back
True.
in the day when people wanted to, you know, perpetrate something like that, like they had to put a lot more work into it, you know. There was no like sending somebody an email that says your bank account has been locked and, you know, click this link to unlock it, you know, like I don't even know what they do, you know, before there was like, you know, computers and all that people were doing that stuff on.
Did you hear about that girl? I saw it on the news yesterday. I was laughing because of the Volusia County Sheriff. What's his name? Chitwood.
Hmm.
He he got that girl. He caught this girl who was a scammer, at the Florida airport. He was like waiting for her.
I love that.
It was so funny to
Yeah.
me. I don't know, just like
By the way,
because he's so intense.
yeah, he is my favorite sheriff in Florida.
He's
We have a
just
lot of good ones, but he's my favorite one because he's
he.
also an Eagles fan, by the way.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah,
Snapple fact.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is about him. Like, if it was me, he's intimidating. Like,
Yeah.
he would scare me.
Oh
If
yeah.
he was meeting me at the airport, like I
Yeah.
flew in. So I think she flew in from New York, and but she's from Florida. That's how he was able to like get her,
Mm-hmm.
because I guess he was saying that when these scams are like from not Florida residents, it's a lot harder to catch them. But
Right.
this girl, they brought her back to Florida, and he was waiting for her. And I guess what she did, she was apparently working with somebody as well, some guy, but they scammed an older lady out of, I think it was $30,000.
Oh wow.
And she had went to, man, I can't remember what they told her it was for, but like why she even fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to her bank, and she went to actually a couple banks, and even some of the banks that she went to, they were like, "Oh no, this is a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, like, no, this is a scam. We're not
Yeah.
going to do this for you. It's a scam.
Yeah.
We're
We're
helping
not going
you."
to do the transaction. Yeah, which is a
And
good thing. I mean, it's kind of like people would be like, "Well, it's my money if I want to," but it's good that they do that because they're protecting people,
yeah, they're looking out
especially
for you.
since so many of those things target like older people who are, you
Mhm.
know,
Who like
don't. Yeah,
know
they're not
as well,
because
yeah.
again, going back to what we were just saying, like this kind of stuff didn't used to go on.
Mhm.
You know.
So it ended up being that like she called the girl back, the scammer, and she was like, "Hey, they're not letting me take the money out of the bank. They're saying it's a scam. I don't know." And
Yeah.
the girl was like, "Okay, well just tell them that you're getting a home remodel done, and you need to send the money to your daughter, and here's my bank account information that you can send it to."
Yeah.
So she finds a bank to do it for her, ends up going through with it, and then, that's how she
Finds
gets
out it.
scammed.
Yeah, there was.
$30,000. That's
Wow.
just so sad and crazy. I remember I used to have a friend that I worked with, and she worked at Publix, like at the customer service desk.
Mhm.
And, you're able to do wire transfers and stuff there. And she would say so many times they would catch like old people potentially getting scammed
Yeah.
that they would have to stop.
Yeah, there was another one down here. Um, where a woman got a call and it was claimed to be her grandson who was and he was in Ohio and he said he got arrested
Mm-hmm.
and I guess the person calling sounded enough maybe like her grandson or
Because
maybe
they
it was a
use AI
case,
a lot
yeah, I
of
was gonna
times too.
say, yeah, I think it was maybe a case like that.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the person said, okay, well, there's a guy, the bail bondsman is gonna come to the house and he's gonna have a shoebox with this number written on it. And so when he comes
What?
to the house, you need to put, I forget how, $5,000 in the shoebox and give it back to him or something odd like
Sounds
that. Yeah,
legit.
yeah. And I mean, at that point should be when you go, yeah, this is a scam.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just like you're in such a state, like when you actually, if there's a part of you that even just believes that a little bit,
Mhm.
there's a part of you, I think, that just goes into panic mode, and you're
Yeah,
not even thinking
yeah.
straight. You're not even thinking like that doing a transaction through a shoebox, like how
Yeah,
that doesn't make
through a
sense.
shoebox.
The
Isn't well, I mean, I guess if you didn't have experience dealing with like bail bondsmen, maybe you'd think, I guess that's how they do it.
Maybe
I
that's
don't
how
know.
they do it.
It's
Yeah, under the
a
table.
shoebox.
Um
That was the part to me that was like, what? Why?
that's like when they were doing
Why?
that scam of where they would call you, and they basically told, like, they would call people, and they would say, "Hey, we're the IRS, and you didn't pay your taxes, so now we're going to arrest you
Yeah.
unless you send us this much money in
In
your back taxes."
yeah.
And
In Walmart gift cards.
yeah, and no, literally, like the
I
one girl
know.
that I worked with, that's what she fell for it. I knew another person who got that same phone call though, and she kind of fell for it, but not enough to give them money.
Yeah. I mean,
But she was
here's the thing
panicking
to
for a
me.
second, like, "Oh my God,
But
I can't
here's
go to jail. Like, what?"
yeah,
But they told her, "You need to send us $5,000, go to Walmart, put it on gift cards, and then read us the gift card numbers."
yeah.
She literally had her boyfriend go there to go
I mean,
halfsies because she didn't have 5,000. He helps her, which that blew my mind.
yeah.
And then right after, I feel like it was almost immediately after she put it on the Walmart gift cards is when it hit like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And she tried to get it back, but they had already wiped the gift cards.
Yeah. And the thing, like the minute somebody says to me,
Yeah.
you're late on this federal payment, right?
Yeah.
And careful.
Oh my God.
And 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 you have to pay it using Walmart gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's the BS meter. It starts flashing red really hard there, because I
Yeah.
don't know how, and I get what you're saying. It's that your brain goes into panic mode and your rational part of your brain shuts off, I guess. But
Like
like for
maybe I
me,
didn't file my
that's the
taxes
thing.
properly that
Well,
one
even
year.
even there though, there's a couple of problems with that. Number one, if you didn't file your taxes properly, you're going to get a notice in the mail from the IRS
Yeah.
first, and they're going to send you a letter saying that there was a problem with your taxes. They're not going to call you on the phone.
I get things all the time like that about my taxes though. And I know I file them properly
Yeah.
every single year,
What,
by the
like
way.
calls like that?
Calls like
Oh yeah, I've
voicemails
gotten that's
of
a
like,
couple of
"You
these
owe this in back
spam
taxes." And I'm
numbers.
like,
Yeah.
"Back taxes?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Like I
Yeah.
don't even have assets like that to
Yeah.
owe in back taxes."
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, back taxes aren't because of assets. It will be because
I
like
filed it incorrectly.
something didn't get reported right.
I filed my taxes on
Like
the
let's
Dave
say
Ramsey
let's
website. It's
say
done correctly.
let's say like you go to file your taxes and you worked at 3 jobs and you only use
Put two.
W-2s for 2 of them. That's a case I think where, and then you just years went by
But
and
even then,
and they caught it. That I
but
think anyway. That's what that would be.
but even then, like you said, they would send something in the mail
Yeah,
of like,
exactly.
"Hey,
They're
you
not gonna
didn't file
call you.
this.
They're not
File
gonna
it."
call you like that. Yeah, you're gonna get a notice in the mail. You're not gonna go to jail. By the
Mhm.
way, what they could do is they could, if you in that scenario, they could start just taking it out of your paycheck. They could just start garnishing your paycheck to get their money back. But they're not gonna. They're not. And
But I think even that comes after like ignoring them
yeah,
for a while
yeah.
because I think like
Yeah, like
even
it's not like
when
the first time you hear from them, they're saying, "Hey, you need to pay us in Walmart gift cards, or you're going to jail." Like,
yeah, like with my
in what
student
cartoon
loans,
world would that be true?
when I didn't I guess this is a little personal info about me, but we're all family here. Um
Literally, I think the only people who might hear this.
so the one year I didn't pay my student loans. Do you remember that? I didn't pay my
Yeah, it was
student
because you
loans
were like you weren't done with school, but you weren't going, and it was so long that had gone by, and I guess you were supposed to start paying them, but you
and I
didn't.
didn't.
And
And they just took it out of my taxes, like my
yeah,
tax
so they
refund.
added it. So you're right. That's right. That's right. So you didn't owe it at tax time. It was just you were
Like
supposed to
take
get a
it out.
refund, and that was a couple of years too, right? That
But then guess what? My student loans got paid off.
right?
So then I
They
had like
forced you to pay it off.
literally I had
But that's a
paid student loans on my credit report.
yeah. I mean, so there you go.
So it actually all worked out.
It worked out for the best.
Sometimes procrastination is best.
That's never best. It's never best. Don't listen to that.
No, but yeah, so I feel like a lot of those kind of calls, it's literally just preying on somebody that I don't want to say doesn't know better, but I guess is just working straight off fear and off of like the unknown of
Yeah. It's
maybe I
like
didn't pay my
it's like
taxes.
it's like me when something spills for those first like 5 seconds after it spills, I just
Yeah.
stand there not knowing how to react to it. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, wait, I'm what?
Oh my
And
God,
then
what do I
and
do
then you
first?
realize, 10 minutes later after you've already bought the Walmart gift cards, you like
You're
that.
like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That does not make sense that I just put $5,000 on Walmart gift cards.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And read this man the gift card number.
Yeah.
Like,
So of those two, which is worse? Money in a shoebox or Walmart gift cards?
I don't know. just sound very sketchy. I think the
Yeah.
Walmart gift card is like top tier for me though.
Yeah.
But so I wondered that though. So how do they get the money off of that Walmart gift card so quickly? Where do they put it? How do they get, because you can't
Yeah,
just
I don't
take money
know.
off a gift card like that.
Yeah.
Like if I get money on a gift card, I just gotta spend that gift card.
Can you take a Walmart gift card and use it to buy, say, a um, Visa gift card? Like if I go on Walmart's website right now,
I think
could
you
I
can,
take money
but I
on a
don't.
gift card and go buy a different gift card with it? Because if that's the case, maybe they do something like that, or maybe they do. Maybe you can do like
I don't know.
wire
Yeah,
transfers through Walmart, although that they would
that
never let
doesn't
you
make
use a gift
sense
card
for a
for that.
gift
Yeah, I
card,
don't know. I don't know.
especially with that much money on
I'm
it.
proud to say I don't know. I don't know
I have no idea
because
how they do
if I
it.
knew, I feel like it would be a bad thing.
But
You
it
know?
was like they got it off the gift card so quickly that there was no like reversing
Yeah, she
that could have
couldn't.
been done.
Yeah, that's I. So, and with all the scams that go on, because I know, like even our Target with gift cards has started doing something new, where like when you're buying, I think it's was it Target gift cards? Or there's one of the gift cards you buy that like
Hmm.
the activation code for it,
Yeah,
they don't put it on the gift card until literally when you're buying the gift card, and somebody from the like the one of the cashier people puts a sticker on that they have somewhere else, and they use that for the activation.
that's probably because of that scam that went on a few Christmases ago.
Yeah, where people would,
Take the barcode off,
yeah,
and then
I think they'd peel it off, get the numbers, put them back on, and then somehow I don't know how they knew that it got activated though, unless they just like every day would
they would just check it
check.
frequently enough
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like periodically enough to see, yeah.
yeah,
And then they would, yeah, like that was a scam that was going on where people would literally cut off the gift card barcode, go back, tape it on.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, and yeah, because I mean it's good I guess because they
They were
found a way
finding
to
those
prevent that.
people. I think that's so stupid.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
literally in a store where
Well,
there's
even with
cameras they
that,
could look
even
at
with
you.
that Walmart thing, like there has to be some way to trace back to the person that ultimately got that, the money off of those. There
I
has
don't
to be,
I
right?
just
I
don't
mean,
I feel like they use such secret, yeah, like
can you
can't
use Walmart gift cards to buy Bitcoin?
I don't
I don't, I don't
probably
know.
not.
Yeah.
Probably not,
'Cause that's
but
the only
yeah.
way I can think of. They stored them all in their Cayman Islands Walmart gift card account. I mean, what like,
Yeah.
or is it possible? How about this? Can you use Walmart gift cards to buy Walmart gift cards? Like, can I take a Walmart gift card,
I
go
could use a
online and buy
Walmart
a
gift card
Walmart
for
gift card
like,
with it?
I don't think Walmart gift cards, but I think you could buy other gift cards with it.
Then that would be the way you would get it. Like you go take that gift card, buy a Visa gift card with it.
But can't
Yeah.
you still
But
trace it? I don't know. I feel like you could
that's what
trace
I'm
it
saying. I feel like there
eventually.
should be traceability because okay, oh, there's no balances on those. Well, tell me where the balance went. You know?
Like call the gift card company
Yeah,
because I feel like to an extent every gift card still has a special number,
yeah.
so you can
Although
still.
I guess that's the thing. Unless you captured all the number, well, she had to give them the numbers over the phone. Oh, she had the physical gift cards, right? Because she
Hmm.
gave them the numbers, but she had the
Yeah,
physical
it's not
gift card.
like I get a gift card, I
Yeah,
give it to you,
yeah. So,
and then
yeah,
you
they should.
lose it and it gets.
I'd like to know more about that. Can you do some research? Call that friend and do some research for the
Yeah.
podcast so we can find out how this all transpired. Because but that's not the only circumstance I've heard of that either. That's a common scam.
The gift
The
cards.
gift card thing. It's such a common
I think
scam that
because
the
it
IRS
is
has
not
come
as
out and
traceable.
made a statement saying that there was something I think was on the news the other day that saying like the IRS will never ask you for gift cards to pay off balances.
Which like is,
Yeah.
no offense to anyone that's fallen for it, but I just
Yeah.
feel like that's common knowledge
Yeah.
that no bill is gonna take. I don't even think like I don't even feel like I could pay the electricity bill with a gift card, like a Visa
Yeah,
gift card. Maybe I
a
can,
Visa gift card you probably
but
could because it's the same. But like
it's still
that's
Visa.
an example where if they're going to ask for something specific like that to pay like even your taxes,
Hmm.
they'd be asking for like a wire transfer or a certified check. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be asking for gift cards.
I think that just comes down to like we're just in an era of just overall scams. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't even like the big
Nobody wants to work for anything anymore.
like the big spam, spam call companies, like these are huge buildings that just thrive off of um scams
Oh, you
and like scamming people. But I feel like even people, like even with my job, there's there was one case that a lady was paying for her balances. She had a balance,
mm,
and it's a balance that's basically, I guess, like to explain it as simple as possible, it's like a reoccurring weekly charge. And every week you have to pay. If you're 2 weeks behind, like you're out. And to avoid that, every single week on like the Wednesday that it hits for the new invoice and charge to come out on Thursday, basically every Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was, she would use a floating check.
floating check.
So she would use like essentially ACH because
Hmm.
ACH takes a few days to come out. So if
Right.
I use ACH today, it will technically in the system show the balance as paid until that ACH hits and then
Right.
it bounces. So it's a floating
Oh,
check.
I see. I
So
see.
people do that she'll go in there every week, and she was going in, I think we found it like literally a year,
Yeah.
like a long time. She accumulated just a lot of fees. And it was because every single week she was going in there doing a floating check on Wednesday that it would, so it would keep her active. And then Friday, Saturday, whenever the ACH like actually hit her bank account,
Right.
because mind you, the balance is getting bigger and bigger each week.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
It hits the bank account on Friday, bounces it.
Right.
So then she goes in there again on Wednesday, like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, this balance is 1 week more this week. I'll
Yeah.
just pay the whole thing. Shows as paid to keep her active long enough. And it was literally an ongoing cycle for
But
months until, like, we
and
actually
so does the
caught it.
company charge her for each of those bounce checks? Bounced ACHs, whatever.
She goes into debt. So now she's in a bad debt situation,
Right.
which
Well, no, but
eventually
I'm
it ends up
saying
going to collections and
like I
hurting
know
your credit.
I know sometimes if you
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
do a payment
Mhm.
and it
It's like a
bounces.
$75 fee
Yeah, yeah. So
for
so
bounce
so
checks.
in
Yeah.
addition to what her
Mm-hmm.
bank's charging her because it's bouncing,
Yep.
and in addition to the fact that she didn't pay the balance, now she's getting a fee
And she's
from you
getting
and
late
from the
fees.
bank. Yeah,
Late.
that's
She's racking
oh,
up late
and late fees.
months of
Yes.
late fees. It's a late fee every week that you're
Don't
late,
understand. I mean, you
and it
you got
goes
to
into
feel to some
collections.
extent you got to feel like sympathy for somebody in that circumstance
Hmm.
because that's like quicksand. Like that'll pull you down, you
I
know?
think she was literally like $4,000 or $5,000 in the
Wow.
hole, and that's a situation where she's not gonna ever.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna get yourself out of it. It's just gonna go to collections, and now it's
Yeah.
gonna be a stain on your credit
Yeah. Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
Because like at
Ugh.
that, obviously eventually it gets to a point, but that's like a popular scam that I think a lot of people do because it's just an easy thing. But the thing is, I know a lot of people, like I think our system is just older, but
Right.
there's some situations I know that if that happens like twice, like if you get a bounce ACH twice, they make you, and we do that manually to some people,
Right.
where if it bounces too many times, like, no, you got to use a debit card now.
Right. Yeah, and
Like, you got to have the money in your account
I
right now.
think when I used to work in billing, well, systems for billing, but for
Hmm.
the cable company, and and I think we had reporting that they would run that would flag those kind of
Yeah.
situations where people were doing that.
And she was also like, that wasn't just the first time. Like, she had like 7 different accounts that she had created to get around it. She
Oh
was
boy.
like using family members' names and different emails, and
Yeah.
she was using like her daughter's cousin like name, like
Gosh.
really
Yeah, I mean,
trying to do a
and I
workaround.
mean the thing is, if somebody's like, in a circumstance where, you know, they need to use that service because how are they going to go to work,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like that's not you're not making things better there. You're
Mhm.
not helping yourself there.
Now you're burning your bridge, burning a
Yeah,
bridge with a
yeah.
company.
And you're causing, I mean at some point that debt catches up with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
And even there's that, did you hear that scam too that's going, I see it on TikTok a lot, of service workers. Like they're saying do not answer the door for like even police. Like you can't even trust police
Yeah.
like coming to your door. There was this thing of a guy, and there were two police officers at his door at like 2 a.m. or something. The police that was the police officer that was standing at the actual door, you could see he's wearing black latex gloves, red flag.
Right.
And then the other cop was just standing behind him, but they never announced like, when the police come to your door, first of all, know your rights, you guys. You don't have to answer. But second, the police, like, they usually announce who they are.
Right.
Like they would normally say. I mean, the thing is, like, thankfully, a lot of people have Ring cameras now where they just talk to them through the camera.
Yeah.
But they are supposed to announce themselves like, "Hey, I'm Sergeant blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Um with this sheriff center or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a police officer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I've watched live PD and cops enough. I know how it works.
exactly. Um so this cop didn't do that. He was just like,
But it was a real cop,
it
or
was not a real cop.
okay.
It
Well,
was fake cops,
so
and they were
fake
just
cops don't
like
know the rules.
fake cops
That's
that
why they
don't
don't
know the
follow them.
rules. And I mean, they're criminals. Like they don't, of course, they don't know the rules. Um,
Or maybe
so
they do.
they're breaking the number one rule, impersonating
Yeah.
an officer.
Yeah.
But yeah, they went up to this guy's door, and all he just kept saying was like, "Come to the door, come to the door, come out here. I need to talk to you. Come out here. I just want to ask you something." Like very not convincing at all. And the guy's just
Yeah.
like, "Okay, officer. Like I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you later."
Yeah.
But if that was somebody, imagine if he was somebody that like got up and actually went to the door.
Yeah. Guy
Or people,
probably would have ended up dead. It sounds like somebody with like I don't know. That's
or there was like there's things of people going to there was this one thing that somebody went to this older person's house saying that they were checking for gas leaks or something like that,
uh-huh.
holding a legit clipboard,
Oh
wearing a
yeah.
legit looking uniform, went inside.
What you're
The
saying
old
is
man
when you say a legit looking uniform, you mean they had an orange vest on, right?
with like a name
Oh,
tag
okay. And a name tag. Okay, that's official right there.
and a clipboard that like was for the company of the gas company.
Mm,
But like you can go online and create that and print it out and
yeah.
whatever. But the old guy, it was an old couple. They let him in and he killed the old man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and I feel like
And robbed them.
as a good rule, if somebody comes to your door like that, and
Hmm.
like in the case of the ones claiming to be the police,
Yeah.
like call 911. Hey, I
Yeah.
got two guys at my door
Are they supposed to
that
be here? Like,
claim to be police, but they don't really seem like they're acting like police. Can you
hmm,
tell me if this is real before I answer this door? And the
yeah.
same thing with like your utility, your power company. Somebody comes up and claims to be from Duke Energy, and you don't, your spidey senses are telling you something's not right with this person, or
Hmm.
even honestly, even if your spidey senses aren't, and you have no reason to expect that somebody's going to be coming to your door,
Yeah.
like call the power company. Call the
Yeah.
power company and find out.
Hey, I have two guys here. Are they supposed to be here or
Yeah,
what?
I mean, because
And even like police
the
officers, like
danger is real.
the police that were in that video too, there was no police car out front, and even a lot of
Yeah,
people in the comments, they were like, yeah, normally police make sure that their car is visible.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they pull it up as close as they can cuz
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like they're not
Because well, probably for their own safety as much as anything.
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like if you don't see a police car anywhere too, Also red flag.
Yeah. The thing with getting back to the whole spam call thing.
Mhm.
Here's what I don't understand. I would say, excuse me, up until about probably like maybe fall of last year of
Yeah.
2024, I feel like the number of those calls that I was getting was very low. Like,
Mhm.
occasionally maybe, but I feel like in the last 6 months probably they're way up. Like it feels
Mhm.
like here's an example. I got um I just got back from Los Angeles,
Mhm.
actually Laguna Beach, but uh, and while I was out there, the one day I was in some work meetings, and my phone kept ringing,
Yeah.
and it was the same number back to back to back to back, I think. And it's not a number I recognize. I'm in work
Mhm.
meeting, so if it was a number I recognize, I'm still not going to answer it.
Mhm.
Um, but um, but yeah, this number called, and of course nobody leaves a message because it's not somebody you need to talk to.
Yeah.
It's a fake call. And one of the problems with those is that whole thing of where they can spoof phone numbers, where they can basically make it look like a call is coming from a different number than where it's actually coming from. And I
Mhm.
don't understand why the telecom industry hasn't, like now one thing I notice on the iPhone now is they have this blue check mark, or maybe it's not a blue check mark, but a check mark that'll come up with a phone number when a phone number shows up on your phone, and that indicates that the carrier has has verified that the phone number is accurate.
But
So
I've
that's
still
like,
gotten that for spam calls
have you really?
or just like yeah, like just like telemarketer type calls.
That's okay. So that's
So
well,
maybe
that's
not like
different. Like,
spam, but
yeah,
like
because to me,
still like
spam
telemarketer.
slash scam calls are different. Like somebody calling you and saying that they're from Amazon and your shipment can't be delivered because there's something wrong with your payment and they're trying to get payment, which I've gotten those ones too. Um,
Oh, I had a funny one. I
like those are
wonder.
the ones where the person doing that is they're doing it for because telemarketers, I mean, that's somebody trying to sell you something, or I get
Mhm.
them all the time for people trying to do like home equity loans, that kind of thing. That's just
Mhm.
a company trying to, so of course that would make sense that would show up
I have
as valid because that's really the company's number.
this one came through the other day. This one comes through a little bit, and it just makes me laugh every time it does. And this is just reading the voicemail that they sent me. This call is to authorize the payment of $14.99, $1,499, for the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
Yeah,
Like, okay, charge it. Like,
yeah,
when
yeah, and
Amazon has never called me to authorize a
yeah, yeah.
Apple MacBook Pro. Okay, hopefully it gets delivered to my
Yeah,
address
yeah. I
if
don't know
it's
who you're
linked to my
charging it to. You're
Amazon.
right. I don't know who you're charging it to, but if you want to ship it to me, that's fine.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
thousand $499 for an
and
Apple MacBook Pro. All right,
yeah,
yeah,
and
swipe it.
one of the things with those kind of calls too, like you notice that the language is like not quite right. Like it's not professional sounding. The English is not exactly correct. So it's probably number one. It's probably an AI generated voice because that's the added danger today is those AI generated voices are so good. Um,
Amazon has never cared about how
yeah,
much I've
right.
spent on things.
Yeah,
Okay, like it's
to verify. Yeah, to
just
authorize.
it's probably been more than $14.99 that I've spent
Yeah,
on things before on Amazon total. They haven't cared. Like they'll just
yeah.
charge the
Never
card.
once.
They'll
Never
just
once.
charge
That's
it.
right.
They've never been like, "Ooh, you sure you want to spend that money,
Yeah.
Alyssa? Let's call to make sure it's really
Yeah,
you."
actually, usually Amazon when I'm doing that is, are you sure you don't want this too?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Hey, these are on
people
your
who bought this
favorites.
also bought this.
Yeah.
Don't you want to? Um,
Right.
but the thing of the language not being right too probably indicates that it's something that's originating in a foreign country.
Mhm.
And I feel like with that stuff that the telecommunications industry could implement things that would stop it. Like it's
Yeah.
great that they have this new feature that I'm talking about on the iPhones where oh, it shows up with a check mark, so you know it was verified. Well, how about if you check it with the company that's supposed to be the carrier for that number, because they know
Mhm.
all that stuff. Like, if you have a phone number, there's a way to know which telephone provider is like owns that number, like is the carrier for that number. So
Right.
if you can't verify it based on the number, then it shouldn't even allow the call to go through because it's clearly
Yeah.
somebody doing something illicit.
No, exactly. Like that's great that you're telling me it's potential spam. That's great that you're telling me it has a blue check mark.
Right,
But how about just not letting it come through at all?
right,
Because that's the most annoying thing throughout the day. I like to keep my ringer on because
right.
one, if I lose my phone, it's easier to find. And also, just so that I know when I'm getting a text, I don't always have my phone next to me. So it's
Yeah.
nice to know if I'm getting a text or a call or whatever. And it's really annoying when my phone is on a ringer and it's constantly throughout the day just
Oh,
going
yeah.
off. And I would say 95% of the day when it's going off, it's not even
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, when I was out in California, I'm sitting in meetings with people all day, and my phone probably rang 7 or 8 times throughout the course of
Hmm.
the day, where it was garbage phone calls. It
Yeah.
was this stuff. And yeah, like, if the numbers are not verified, if they can't, if when they go to verify them, they say, no, that's not coming from the right source,
Hmm.
then they should just reject them. They
And they're
shouldn't allow it to
relentless.
come through.
When they
Yeah.
call at nighttime or on the weekends, that really annoys me.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's Sunday.
Yeah, right. So the funny thing is, there used to be. Now wait, I miss. I'm no. I'm about to. I was about to state a false fact, so I'm not going to state it. But I was going to say there used to be something that they couldn't call you on Sundays. I think they did though. Like certain types of calls were not allowed to be made
Maybe.
on Sundays. But that
During
was.
COVID, they slowed down a little bit. You
Yeah.
notice that?
Yeah.
They weren't as bad during COVID.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Even
know
this,
why.
even the spam call centers weren't.
Yeah, they were like the they were shut down maybe.
I would never work for one of those companies.
I mean, if somebody, if you were going for a job, hey, do you want to work at our call center? Oh, sure.
No, that's a
What do
thing.
what do you do? So basically, what we do is we call people and we trick them into thinking that we're the
That's
IRS.
real.
And
No, I used
but
to.
I feel like if they're companies, they're not operating in the U.S. They're operating
No,
probably
they
in
operate
like
in the US. There was a girl I
no.
used to work with, and she had told me that she almost got a job. I forget where it was. I don't think she told me the company, but she had an interview for this company. And basically, like, what she would have been doing is not scamming people in terms of saying that she's the IRS when she's not the IRS. It wasn't scamming like that, but it was like she basically would have it was work from home, and she would have had to call people, cold call people, and just try to sell them stuff that they weren't getting, basically.
So
Like basically
that's
just falsely sell
that's
them
called
things.
fraud. That's
It was
that's an
something like that. It was
I
something like that. Don't quote
so
me, but
I'm trying to figure out though if you work for a company like that, like clearly they're paying you under the table because they're not giving you a W-2. Because if they paid you by W-2 and you were doing that, then you would also be guilty of fraud if you were
mhm.
knowingly, doing that. So
Or maybe it was
nobody
just
would
like
do that.
selling them like BS things that they didn't need. I don't know.
Okay, well
Whatever it was, she was like, it doesn't
that's
align with
different.
my morals.
Yeah.
Like, remember when Brandon was working for, or wasn't working for them, but like that company that he almost worked for, that it was basically you had to go door to door
Oh,
trying to sell people, like, look at their cars, see who has a cracked windshield or broken windshield or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
go to their door and be
yeah.
like, hey, I work for this windshield company, I could fix your windshield for this much.
Well, actually, it was the thing of it is, it was it won't cost you anything because I think it's in Florida. I don't know if it's all over the country. There's a requirement in the law that insurance coverage has to include
Windshield.
windshield
Yeah.
repair with no deductible. So it
Yeah,
literally will
it's free.
cost you nothing. Yeah, it's literally
Mhm.
free.
Yeah.
You're paying for it
I've
in
had to
your
use it before,
yeah.
and you literally don't pay anything. They come out,
Yeah.
you call Safe Light, they come out, they fix it,
Yeah,
and
and
they
it's
go on with their day. You go on with yours.
yeah, and it's a good thing that they
Mhm.
do that, but um the the thing is that ultimately it makes two things. It makes your insurance costs go up because it's not free. You're paying for it because that's why you
The
pay for
insurance has
insurance.
to, yeah.
And the second thing is it leads to scams. It leads to, there are less reputable companies out there that will take a look at your windshield. They'll find the tiniest little, chip that may not even be, it might just be a spot of dirt, but they'll say it's a chip.
Hair on the
And
windshield,
yeah,
they think it's a crack.
yeah. And they'll do they'll do the repair as whatever is most profitable for them. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So um I just that's what that leads to. It's so it's like insurance in general.
Mhm.
Insurance is as expensive as it is because you have to have it. So it's
Yeah.
you kind of don't have a choice. It's like what's gone on with the homeowners insurance in Florida. Um, there were a lot of companies going through and getting people new roofs on their houses because let's say that there was a hailstorm within so
Mhm.
many miles of your house. You didn't have to have hail damage on your house at all. The
Mhm.
roofing companies would come out and say, "Oh yeah, there was damage," and because there was like a documented case within a certain distance of your house, your insurance would pay for the roof, and all you were paying for was your deductible. So, you
Mhm.
know, I don't know how much a roof costs. $12,000 roof, you were paying $2,000 out of your deductible to get a brand new roof on your house.
Mhm.
Well, when that started happening, I mean, like the neighborhood we live in, for example, these houses are probably they're probably going on like 25 years old now.
Mhm.
And probably about 5 years ago or so, a lot of the houses in this neighborhood got new roofs because there were companies going around and selling people on that. And
Yeah.
it seemed like a great thing at the time, but that's part of the reason that insurance in Florida has gone like, and I guess it's everywhere too, but is homeowners insurance here has gotten so crazy because, you know, that's not the intent of homeowners insurance to pay for roofs on, new roofs. It's intended if, you know,
Yeah.
you do get hail damage to your roof, then
Like a repair, not
they'll
a
come through and,
complete.
well, they'll usually they wouldn't do repairs on those, I don't think in
I
general,
knew
but
someone that right after, I think it was after one of the hurricanes years ago, they used their insurance to get a new roof,
mhm.
and the insurance basically said, "Okay, yeah, we'll get you a new roof. That's fine. You'll pay this much." I think he barely paid anything, if I'm being honest. But they dropped him immediately after
Oh yeah,
they fixed the roof.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Which, I mean,
they said, "Here's your roof. See ya.
yeah,
Don't use us again." And
yeah. Which,
then
I mean, the thing of that is, so then he's got to go get new insurance. He's probably gonna pay more because he
mhm,
just had the roof done. Although you think it would
mhm,
be the opposite. You think they'd be like, well,
less of a
we won't have to pay
liability.
for a roof now for
Yeah.
him. But I don't think that's how it works because like we were even trying to get quoted for new insurance here,
Yeah.
and the one company wouldn't even quote us because the previous owner had water damage. They had like a pipe that burst in the wall in the bathroom, in the master bathroom, and they had it all repaired, but it was paid for on insurance because insurance does cover
Oh
that.
wow.
And because it was within like less than 5 years, they
Yeah,
wouldn't even quote us because of that. And I don't know if that's because
that's
maybe
crazy.
there's like more risk of other pipes, I don't know, but yeah, they wouldn't even quote it. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
what you run
wild.
into. That's what happens.
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
So that's our take on what do we call it? Spam and scams.
spam and scams.
Sounds like a really bad restaurant.
Yeah, it does. I would never eat there.
I know.
Spam and scams.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, guys, see you next time.
Yeah.
Tune into Game Time on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah. What she said. Bye.
Bye.